Aaron Gordon.
See, this is why I love Anthony Edwards. His authenticity, and by the way, he's right. Aaron Gordon was sensational in Game 4. He did everything for Denver. He became the third player with 25 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, while also making 90% of his shots in a playoff game. He changed this series, Perk. What did the Nuggets prove to you this weekend?
Well, they proved to me that I was wrong about them, about Minnesota sweeping them and the rest of the world. That's the number one thing. But they like, let's be honest. They were tested. They're battle tested because they're the champs, but they never been tested to this capacity where they lost 2 games in a row at home and had to go on the road in a must-win situation in a Game 3 and get that win in another must-win situation in a Game 4 and get that win as well. And I can't sing enough praises about Nikola Jokic, the MVP, and why he is the MVP. You talk about mental toughness. Before the Game 3 and Game 4, he was shooting 42% from the field. We thought that Karl Anthony Towns, Rudy, and Nas had the answer for him, and then he was like, Perk, fellas, everybody, women, ladies, gentlemen, whatever you want to call it, everybody keep a cool booty. And let me show y'all how I dominate and put them in their place. When you're able, when you're able to expose a defensive player of the year like he's doing right now, when Rudy is matched up with him, that goes to show you what type of problem Jokic really is.
Yeah, this team is a championship caliber team, and we knew this coming into it. We all had concerns because we've never seen this team lose at home. This is a dominant team. We always talk about Denver's home court presence, the elevation, all these things. We saw Minnesota come in there and take both these wins. It kind of drew us back for a little bit. But Nikola is the best player in basketball, and it was silly for all of us, including myself, to count him out. And they come back, they win these 2 games. They now have all the momentum headed back their way. It doesn't surprise me. It's good for basketball. I won 7 games. I haven't gone 7 games. I have Denver winning in 7. So we'll see how this turns out, man. But they've taken the momentum. They've made adjustments. You've alluded to a couple we'll get to shortly. But, they've come back, and you got to give Coach Malone credit. They've strategically put people in different spots due to the way Minnesota was guarding them in those first games. And to piggyback lastly on Perk's point, a lot of these guys, when we talk about starting at the top, their core, Murray, Jokic, MPJ, these are the same, they were part of the same team that were down 3-1 in the bubble, remember, multiple times and came back. So it's silly for us to ever count this team out. It just seems like every time they take a couple steps back, they take even more steps forward. And it looks like nothing's changing here this year.
Let's get into those adjustments because Anthony Edwards, he continued just incredible play, right? He's had it all of this 2024 playoff run. It was his third 40-point game, but the margins for this team, they're just so thin. Look at this, right? He played just under 46 minutes in Game 4. When he was on the court, the Wolves actually won those minutes by 5. The problem is they lost the 2 minutes and 40 seconds with him on the bench by 13 points. So here's Anthony Edwards after the loss.
Anthony, did you have any words with Jamal or any of the Nuggets at the end of the game there? Looked like you might have been saying
I just told his ass, that's what we love that. Keep talking that. That's what we like. Well, I love it, So, he ain't say nothing back, but I'm pretty sure he heard me. They heard me.
Hardest game of their lives. Austin, you have a unique perspective on all of this because you played with both Anthony Edwards and you also played with Nikola Jokic with the Denver Nuggets, with the Minnesota Timberwolves. Do you think, what they make these guys tick better than anyone? I think Denver is coming back in this series. Do you?
I have Denver winning the series, just due to the fact that they've been able to take back control. I think they feel a way about losing their first 2 games at home, a place where they've been notoriously dominant. I think they go back and they win Game 5, and then I think Minnesota wins Game 6. I truly believe these are the 2 best teams, obviously, in the Western Conference. I think the winner of this series goes on to the finals. I love Dallas. I love OKC, but I don't think either teams could beat, what we're watching over here. So I have it a 7-game series, and I have Denver taking it. They just continually make adjustments and find ways to win. It seems like every time we count Nikola out, he just comes back and plays even more efficient and more dominant. Aaron Gordon, the guy, the X factor, who we always we don't talk about him. We always talk about the greatness of Jamal and Nikola and even MPJ shooting. And AG just kind of floats along and doesn't get that recognition. But this guy continually just pulls through and has these big games, whether it's on offense like it was last night or defensively, which we saw all last year's postseason. So I have them going.
Anthony Edwards did everything he could in that game.
I don't know.
He did his part.
Yeah.
I don't know what more you can ask of him, frankly. He is playing like the superstar he is. He needs guys to come along with him. And you continue to talk about what Nikola Jokic is doing. That's absolutely true. But he's doing it because Aaron Gordon may have had his best game, certainly playoff game, as a Denver Nugget last night. He brought the ball up the floor 27 times. That's more than he has ever in a Denver Nuggets uniform. And what does that do? That allows for Jamal Murray, right, to get a little bit of rest that's almost built into the game and opens everything up for him and for Nikola.
Big adjustment by Coach Malone. They were harassing Jamal the first couple of games. I don't know if you can remember those plays where he's dribbling up and McDaniels and Nikhil Alexander harassing him, double teaming him. They were bumping, touching Nikola every time he tried to bring it up because we all know he likes to be a point center sometimes. Instead, they made that adjustment. They made AG bring the ball up, get those guys rest, get them in their place. So now when they get the ball, they're in their spots and they can just focus on scoring or making plays for their team. It was a huge adjustment for them, and something such as minor as that can have a huge impact.
But there's also these tiny things that the Denver Nuggets are doing, and it's something that only kind of comes with experience. So let's check out today's Smart Play. It's brought to you by Intuit Credit Karma, because it's not just the stats, right, for Nikola Jokic, the awareness of time and score. So look at this right here. Just how much time is left here in the fourth quarter alone and how much time he intentionally wasted on this play. He stalls and wastes more than 10 seconds. What does this do for Denver?
I think it buys time for them to get into their offense. I mean, this is a team that wants to play at their own speed, and really that speed depends upon that big fella right there.
But it's also not just that, right? How do you score in basketball? You need more possessions.
Absolutely.
And so this is limiting the possessions, literally, that the Timberwolves get to have the ball.
Look at him right now, just look at him just wasting time, finding ways to just procrastinate. This
Shaving time off of the clock, right? This is pretty incredible. Just in the fourth quarter alone, he wasted, I don't know if it's wasted for him, but 50 seconds. That's pretty remarkable. The Celtics are still the heavy favorites to win this series. But, Perk, what version of Tatum do the Celtics need here in order to win it all? Because that's the bar for this group.
That version we saw in Game 3, a pissed-off Jayson Tatum. And look, if Jayson Tatum and the Boston Celtics and even the media in Boston, if they're going to use me for motivation, then damn it, have at it. Let me be your motivation, okay? Because I don't give a damn. At the end of the day, we know how special. We know how special Jayson Tatum could be offensively. We know he has the bag on the perimeter to be able to get into his shot, whether it's step backs, whether it's between the leg cross. But when he's attacking downhill, I remember last year in the regular season, we were literally talking about him and Giannis Antetokounmpo being a force at the rim. When Jayson Tatum has it on his mind, the Celtics are a completely different ball club. If he's going to continue to play pissed off and mad, damn it, the Celtics ceiling is very, very high, and they could possibly reach their goal of winning the NBA championship.
Yeah, I'm with Perk, just from the aspect of when you talk about Tatum, a lot of times we always talk about his numbers and how they're down from last year to this year, but people got to understand those are skewed because he has elite role players with him. It's hard for him to go for 40 when Derek White has 25.
Right, you don't need to.
Yeah, you got Porzingis, you got Drew Holiday. I mean, they probably have the most elite role players in the NBA. So he hasn't had to take that step. But for them to go to the finals, for them to compete in the finals and win a championship, he's going to have to do that. And I agree with Perk. When he's attacking downhill, that is when he's at his best. Getting to the free throw line, having a steady diet of his step-back threes, but also getting to the paint and finding people. We're seeing that he's starting to facilitate more for his teammates now. But my, not worry, but focus with Tatum would be fourth quarter. That's been kind of like an Achilles heel for Boston, him and Brown this entire season, as well as last year, especially in the postseason. They're okay versus Cleveland right now. I don't think they're going to have any trouble with Cleveland, even if they somehow win another game. They're winning this series. My concern with Tatum and Brown is I want to see these guys work together to dominate fourth quarters when they're going against a Denver or a Minnesota, whoever wins that series. That's the focus.
And you want to see glimpses of that now because they might not get that real big test until they are in the finals against a Denver Nuggets and Minnesota Timberwolves type team. And so you want to see those glimpses before you're required to turn it on just to know that you have that right in your arsenal.